So today there's stuff in the news about Peterborough because probably because it represents in a microcosm what's happening across the United Kingdom, and is representative of the sort of problems that the indigenous population, as we might call it, meaning people from the what you might call the Four Nations, you might call them Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland. Those sort of groups of people being outnumbered in some places by the immigrant population, be it Eastern European, be it Muslim population, or other ethnic backgrounds. And it doesn't take much to make people feel a bit queasy. It was Radio 4 News at lunchtime, and it was on about 75% of the street in Peterborough, this particular street, there's a particular area, was landlord housing, rented housing. And people buy them up because they're cheap, because Peterborough isn't an expensive place to live. You go back 20 odd years, go back 30 years, and Peterborough was the sort of place. I used to read motorcycle magazines when magazines were a thing you actually bought and were paper, and I used to read those, and motorcycle mechanics and stuff, and they had stuff about Peterborough because that sort of area was great for motorcycling. Bikers, you go around there, good roads, and quite interesting to ride around your bike. It's just a good area for bikers. Kings Lynn and all that sort of thing. And now, when I hear about Peterborough and areas like that, it's all to do with people being worried about immigration. There's one thing you can't get away from, and that is the inevitable march of arithmetic. They were talking, for example, about a family living in a 3-bedroom house, and to an extent they're giving it the hardship angle, this immigrant family, and it's they describe them as East European, whatever that means. Could that mean anywhere from Poland to Ukraine? I don't know. So they've come in. She's got 8 kids, this woman. Far be it from me to point out the obvious, but one of the things that we have in common, it was always accepted in this country, United Kingdom, England, Scotland, wherever, that Catholics tended to have big families. I don't think that of itself ever threatened very many people. It might have been a standing joke or something, but, it was so what, really. Now people are wondering about the inevitable march of arithmetic. If poorly educated, and that's the words from the news, and I believe it to be factually true, if poorly educated Eastern European people are coming in with average language skills in English, and they have children, like 8 children and stuff in the house. I mean, question, why doesn't my little family have 8 children? Did I just not want any more? Well, that's not true. Our GP, he's got 4 kids. 4 children. But he's a GP, and he makes quite a lot of money. I could only dream of having 4 kids, and I would probably have more kids if my spouse was willing, but it's the money. We struggle to give 2 kids a decent start in life. Why would we have 4? Heck, this woman's had 8, and she's brought them all to Britain. Now, if anybody thinks that that is an uncommon thing, by all means speak out, put a comment, whatever, but to me, I bet that's absolutely standard. So, we're going to have a load of people moving in, which by simple arithmetic, given that people don't mix very much, they're going to follow their own doctrine, which means those kids are going to have, let's say, 5, 6 kids each. Even if only half of them did that, those 8 children would multiply up to, let's say, 6 times 5, 30 kids. Those 8 children could produce 30 grandchildren without thinking about it hard. And in 10 years' time, they'll be old enough to do it. So in 10 years' time, you're talking about 30 grandchildren, and in 30 years' time, those 30 grandchildren, let's say 2/3 of them want to, well, you get the picture. It's that old story about the chessboard. Remember, there was somebody conned a king into giving them a grain of rice on every square on a chessboard. He said, I want, what was it, 2 on the first, or 1 on the first, 2 on the second, I want 4 on the third. Right, the arithmetic works out that not all the rice in China could be enough to fulfill the 64th square on the chessboard. So, the king didn't realise what he was getting into. He thought it was cheap. The guy who conned him knew mathematics. So you look at the multiplying effect that's going to have, and us in Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, Ireland, Wales. The thing we have in common is that we're generally quite restrictive about the amount of children we have. We have lots of things in common, which is why we haven't had a big war for the past 300 years, like Scotland, England, because we actually have a lot in common when it comes to the basics. So if you wonder why there's going to be friction, just look at the arithmetic. This is a problem, the seeds of which have been planted now, and will mushroom within the next 10 to 25 years. And that's what people are beginning to worry about. They're saying this is the tip of the iceberg. And they're quite rational worries. In fact, I can't think of any worry that is more rational. We're all having 2 kids each, or none. My personal experience is, when I go to see people whose ancestry is from other countries, and they've come to Britain, they've got 3 and 4 children. I look at all the people I know. My ex-wife, no kids. Us, 2 children. My brothers, no kids. You look at what white people from Britain are doing, and there's hardly any children. You look at what integrated people in Britain are doing, like my spouse is of Jamaican ancestry, hardly any children. And then you look at what the Eastern European immigration wave is doing. The arithmetic is truly frightening, and the government will ignore it for as long as it can. But people on the street are thinking about it. Nothing could be more rational, unfortunately, than to worry about the arithmetic on this. That's all for the moment. Thanks for watching and listening.